It's the start of a new week, and many of you are probably happy for the warmer weather and temperatures and sunshine that we've been seeing today. Thanks so much for joining us tonight at 5:30. I'm Sarah Horbacewicz. We got a nice sunset or start to a sunset here behind me. Yeah. And Corrales, I know you have some good news that we're going to be seeing a lot more of the sun later in the week.
Yes, it's been a long time since we saw that fiery ball up in the sky, and it's not only been nice to see the sunshine, it was a lot warmer today too.
Yes.
If you noticed, we were stuck in the 30s for the last several days, probably since at least Tuesday evening. So it was a nice change as well. And lots of thawing out definitely had occurred. Last night we saw a little bit leftover rain, even some freezing rain that gave a last bit of some glaze that we're finally done with after dealing with that all week. Here's a photo sent to us by Charlie. This is over in Russellville. Literally a combination of fire and ice with that cardinal there at the bottom of your screen there, and a little bit of the ice hanging off the branches there as well. Again, lots of melting happened. We saw highs in the 50s today, and we're still in the low 50s this evening. Lots of sunshine to work with those light winds out of the northwest. So temperatures going back down to around freezing tonight. Clear skies, quiet conditions for tonight. But as I mentioned, next week we are going to have that early preview of spring-like weather, which again, we're already entering the month of March. That's already kind of like spring season for us anyway. So yes, next week looking good. We'll be seeing sunny skies and 70s back in the forecast. So more of what to expect in the new week is coming up.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has put his country's nuclear forces on high alert, pointing to what he calls aggressive statements by top NATO powers and financial sanctions. Putin's order raises new fears about how the crisis in Ukraine could unfold as the United Nations agreed to hold an emergency session on the invasion tomorrow. Tom Hansen has the latest from New York.
This video from a suburb of Kyiv appears to show a line of Russian tanks and armored trucks bombed out and still smoking, an attempt by Ukrainians to slow Russian troops. Kyiv's mayor says his city of almost 3 million is completely surrounded, and new satellite imagery shows hundreds of Russian military vehicles only about 40 miles away. Sunday, street fighting broke out in Ukraine's second largest city, Kharkiv, forcing a children's hospital to relocate to an underground bomb shelter. Overnight, Russian forces blew up Ukrainian airfields and fuel facilities. Russian President Vladimir Putin ordered his nuclear forces to prepare for action. Simultaneously, Russia said it was ready to enter peace talks with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky. Zelensky agreed, but vowed not to give up an inch of Ukraine's territory. The European Union has offered to send help.
The European Union will finance the purchase and delivery of weapons and other equipment to a country that is under attack.
Tens of thousands of Ukrainians are trying to escape, crowding onto trains, driving towards safe borders only to wait in long lines, or walking miles through the night. This Ukrainian boy teared up, explaining he and his mother left his father behind to fight. Some Ukrainian men living outside their home country are returning.
I just can't sleep calmly. I woke up and I cried.
Tensions are also high in Russia. In protests around the country, Russians chanted no to war, and police in riot gear made arrests. In St. Petersburg and Moscow, there are long lines at ATMs following word that some Russian banks have been expelled from SWIFT, a high-security network that connects banks around the world. Tom Hansen, CBS News, New York.
And analysts say because of the panic, Russia may have to temporarily close bank branches or declare a national bank holiday to protect its financial system. The United Nations Refugee Agency says about 370,000 Ukrainians have arrived in neighboring countries so far. And some of that video and these headlines can all be a little bit overwhelming as well. So one local Arkansas mental health expert tells us it's important that even far away, we still take time to check in on how these developments impact us. The licensed therapist Beatrice Klokpa says in times of conflict, it's only normal to still feel some anxiety.
You can feel how you feel. You don't have to be in the midst of war to acknowledge that you're feeling sad, that you're feeling afraid, that you're feeling fearful. If someone is going through something traumatic, you may also feel and have the same empathy for that person, even though you're not in the situation.
Klokpa says some ways you can take care of yourself right now could be reaching out to friends and family, or she recommends finding a local related cause to contribute to maybe feel like you can control a little more. She also suggested journaling as well as setting boundaries for when you stay informed. Investigators in Benton are still searching for answers after police found a, quote, unresponsive juvenile. Officers were called to Chapel Ridge Apartments right there on your screen yesterday morning. Reports show that authorities found a 3-year-old child unresponsive by the time they arrived at 11:30 yesterday morning. Investigators are asking that if anyone has any information, they contact them. Gun violence also killed one person in Conway early yesterday morning. Officers were called to the intersection of Neal and Garland Street when someone heard shots fired. When they got to the scene, police noticed that someone was injured. That victim was then taken to a nearby hospital, but later died. This is still an active investigation, so Conway police are also asking anyone with information to contact them. Over at the Capitol tomorrow, it's the 15th day of the Arkansas Fiscal Session. That'll resume in the Capitol as well. The House and Senate took Thursday off due to the inclement weather we saw last week. State legislators decided to reconvene on Monday rather than Tuesday. This House and Senate convenes in their respective chambers tomorrow at noon. Now, if you commute through downtown Little Rock, you might have to change your typical route. Starting this week, President Clinton Avenue will be closed below Interstate 30 for about the next 5 weeks. It's part of the 30 Crossing project, and drivers will instead have to follow a detour that we're showing you right there on your screen. That detour will take you through 3rd Street instead. Now, Americans have received 3 stimulus checks since 2020, and some are wondering if a 4th could be on the way. Brandon Lewis from our National Verify team looks into claims that more checks could come soon.
Americans have received 3 stimulus checks from the federal government since 2020. And one of the most frequently asked questions we get at Verify is whether we'll get a 4th check. So far, Congress hasn't approved one. But this video on Facebook with more than 45,000 views claims President Joe Biden signed an executive order to distribute more stimulus money. So let's verify. Did President Biden tell Americans they would receive a new round of stimulus payments? Our sources are the White House press pool, the White House, and the Internal Revenue Service. The Post includes a video with Biden supposedly making the announcement on a news station.
Some people in the country will start seeing those direct deposits in their bank accounts this weekend.
But Verify found this is what Biden actually said in a clip.
We can create an environment that raises the standard of living around the world.
The real video is from last November when the president spoke at the COP26 climate summit in Scotland. This is proven by the presence of the UK and UN flags in the background and the logos for the conference on the podium. Here are both videos playing in sync with each other. The fake video loops a portion from the real video, and President Biden's lips match the audio in the real clip. So the video posted on Facebook is fake. It was manipulated to sound like President Biden. The wording of the purported audio was actually said by White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki in March 2021.
Some people in the country will start seeing those direct deposits in their bank accounts this weekend.
The IRS confirms on its website that the government only sent out 3 stimulus checks, and there is no 4th check. So, no, President Biden never told Americans they would receive a new round of stimulus payments. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Live look outside this evening. We are finally seeing blue skies. We finally got to enjoy warmer temperatures on top of that, but more of that is to come for the upcoming week. I'll let you know what to expect as we enter the first week of March coming up.